Hey everyone, we are back and ready to attack this word problem. So example number 3, we're going to be solving word problems using equations. So let's go ahead and read it. Mr. Rios wants to prepare a dessert, but only has 2 2/3 tablespoons of sugar. If each serving of the dessert has 2/3 tablespoon of sugar, how many servings can he make for the party? So what do we know? Well, Mr. Rios wants to prepare a dessert, but only has 2 2/3 tablespoons of sugar. So that's like the total amount. All right. So we know the total. So we have the total amount, right? And the total amount is made up of what? Well, it's made up of servings, right? If each serving of the dessert has 2/3 tablespoons of sugar. So we know the amount of the serving, right? But what we don't know is how many servings. So we don't know the number of servings. So we know the amount of the servings, but we don't know how many. And really the amount of each serving multiplied by the number of servings gives us the total. Okay, so this is kind of how we would set up the all this information using an equation, which is what we're going to be moving towards in class. It's taking words, problems like this, and then setting them up as an equations. So the first thing we have to do is define the variable. What do we not know? Well, we don't know the number of servings. So what we're going to say is we're going to define that variable. We're going to say, let S equal the number of servings. Okay. Let S equal the number of servings, and then we're just going to plug in the information. Okay, here's kind of like our template right here for our equation. The total. Well, what is the total amount? The total is 2 2/3 tablespoons. That's the total. Equals the amount of each serving. Well, it's 2/3 of tablespoons of sugar for each serving. 2/3 times the number of servings. That's what we don't know, so that's going to be our S. Okay? And then we just solve. We just solve for S. Okay, to solve for S, that means we need to get S by itself. Okay, we also have this mixed number. We're going to have to probably change this into an improper fraction, so let's just go ahead and do that. 3 times 2 is going to be 6, plus 2 is 8. So 8/3 equals 2/3 S. And remember, when we're trying to isolate S, how is S related to 2/3? Well, multiplication. Usually you do the inverse operation, which would be division, but what we talked about last time is every single time we have a fraction multiplied by the variable, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3/2 to both sides, because what happens when we do that and we look to cross cancel, everything just cancels out and becomes 1, and 1 times S is S. So there we go. We have S by itself, which is awesome and amazing. Okay, now we just need to multiply these fractions. And remember, whenever we multiply fractions, first we have to look to cross cancel and then multiply across. So let's look here. Can we cross cancel anything out here? Is there any common factors? I'm going to say yes, 3. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 3 one time. Perfect. And then here we look at 2 and 8. Are there any common factors between 2 and 8? Yes, 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 8 4 times. And then we just multiply across. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 divided by 1 is the same thing as 4 equals S, which means the number of servings, there are 4 servings. So Mr. Rios, let me put that up. Mr. Rios can make 4 servings. Awesome. That is the answer. So now it is your turn to check it out. So what we're going to do is you guys are going to go ahead and pause. Go ahead, work out this problem. And then when you're done, press play and let's see if you got the right answer. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye. All right, we are back. Let's go ahead. Check it out, example 3. Let's see how you guys did. Okay, Rick's car holds 2/3 of the amount of gas as his wife's van. If the car's gas tank can hold 31/2 gallons of gasoline, how much gasoline can the tank in the minivan hold? Okay, so we have two different things. We have a car, car, and then we have a minivan, a van and a minivan. Okay, so there's a minivan there and a van and a minivan, which is the same thing. Okay, cool. So it says, Rick's car holds 2/3 of the amount of gasoline as his wife's van. So that's kind of our equation right there. So Rick's car holds is equal to 2/3 the amount of gas as his, that's times wife's van, okay? So there you go. That is our equation. Now it says if the car's gas tank can hold 31/2 gallons of gas, okay, how much can the minivan hold? So what do we not know? Well, we don't know how much the wife's van can hold, how much gas the minivan can hold. So that's what we need to define our variables. So let's say let's just use W for wife minivan. So W equal amount of gas held in wife's minivan. Can we see all that? Minivan. Let's move it over a little bit. Perfect. Okay, let's set up our equation. Now, how much gas can Rick's car hold? If the car's gas tank can hold 31/2. Okay, so that's what we put right here. Here is our equation. 31/2 equals 2/3 times wife's minivan, which is what we don't know, and we're going to use W for that. Okay, we're trying to figure out what this is, so we need to isolate W and get W by itself. Okay, in order to do that, we need to get rid of the 2/3. Well, how is it really related? It's related through multiplication, right? But it's a fraction, so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by the inverse, which would be 3/2, and I'm just going to kind of fit it in there. And what's awesome about that, when we multiply by the reciprocal, what happens is all this fun stuff just cancels out when we cross cancel. And it's all left with 1, and 1 times W is just W. And now W is isolated, it's by itself, which is very, very cool. So here we go. We are going to look to cross cancel. We're multiplying these fractions. So we're going to look to cross cancel. We cannot cancel out anything here, so we just multiply across. 3 times 31. Well, what's that? I'm going to go over here on my scratch and just go 31 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, 93. 2 times 2 is 4. So W equals 93/4. Okay, we're talking about gallons of gas, and 93/4 doesn't mean a whole lot to me, so let's go ahead and change that improper fraction into a mixed number. So we're going to go 93 divided by 4. 93 divided by 4. How many times does 4 go into 9? It goes in there twice. 2 times 4 is 8. 9 take away 8 is 1, and we're going to drop that 3 like it's hot. How many times does 4 go into 13? 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12, and we're going to subtract. 13 minus 12 is 1. And then, yeah, let's just leave it as 1 because that's going to be our remainder. So 93 goes in, no, 4 goes into 93 23 times. So our mixed number is 23 with 1 left over. So it's a remainder of 1 over 4. So there you go. That's how much the minivan holds, how much gas. 23 1/4 gallons. So let's go ahead and write our answer. The minivan, we can just say the minivan. The minivan holds 23 1/4 gallons of gas. Okay. If you got that one right, awesome job. All right, we will see you later. Bye.